Numbers 23 through 24. The uncrossable people of God and why Jesus never wore a cross. Peace. This is Augustus. Today I'm going to show you how Numbers 23 and 24 tie directly into crossing, uncrossing, covenant identity, and the question, would Jesus wear a cross? Because these verses are the original architecture of everything we've been teaching. The foundation. God cannot be crossed. Let's start with Numbers 23 and verse 19. It says, God is not a man that he should lie. He doesn't change his mind. And when he blesses, nobody can reverse it. That means God cannot be crossed. He cannot be blocked. He cannot be tangled. He cannot be interfered with. And if God cannot be crossed, then the people he blesses cannot be crossed either, unless they step out of alignment. The blessing cannot be reversed. Number 23, verse 20 says, He has blessed and I cannot reverse it. That is uncrossing. That is covenant. That is identity. When God blesses you, no symbol, no curse, no ritual, no person, and no system can reverse it. This is the same thing traditional hoodoo meant when they talked about uncrossing. Restoring, alignment, restoring clarity, restoring movement. Now let's talk about the line identity, not a cross. Numbers 23, verse 24 says, Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion. That is identity. That is covenant. That is priesthood. God marked his people with lion identity, not a Roman cross. The lion rises. The lion stands. The lion cannot be crossed. This is why Jesus never wore a cross. He walked in the identity of the Lion of Judah, not the symbol of his executioners. And in Numbers 24:8, God breaks the crossed condition. Number 24:8 says, God brought him forth out of Egypt. He shall break their bones. Egypt represents the cross condition, bondage, confusion, misalignment. God bringing Israel out is uncrossing, restoring order, restoring identity, restoring movement. Breaking bones is breaking interference, breaking obstacles, breaking anything that tries to block the covenant path. And in Numbers 24:9, we see the original covenant mark. Numbers 24:9 says, "Blessed is he that blesseth thee, and cursed is he that curseth thee." This is the original covenant mark. Not a cross, not a charm, not a symbol. God himself marks his people with blessing and protection. This is why no one in scripture ever wore a cross. This is why Jesus never wore a cross. This is why the disciples never wore crosses. The covenant is the mark. The blessing is the mark. The identity is the mark. So let's talk about how this connects to crossing and uncrossing. Crossing is misalignment. Uncrossing is restoration. Numbers 23 through 24 shows God's people cannot be crossed by outside forces. Only misalignment can tangle their path. God himself uncrosses his people. God marks his people with covenant, not symbols. The lion identity replaces the Roman cross. This is the same message we've been teaching. Identity over symbols, covenant over religion, order over superstition. Why Jesus would never wear a cross? When you understand Numbers 23 to 24, the question answers itself. Would Jesus wear a cross? No, because God's people cannot be cursed. God's blessing cannot be reversed. The lion identity is the true mark. The cross is a Roman execution device. The covenant is the real symbol. The priesthood is the real identity. Jesus wore a seamless priestly garment, not a cross. He walked in covenant identity, not Roman symbolism. So in closing, Numbers 23 to 24 is the blueprint. God cannot be crossed. God's people cannot be crossed. God himself uncrosses his people. God marks his people with covenant, not symbols. And the lion identity is the true mark of Israel. This is Augustus. This is real hoodoo. And this is the priesthood restored.